Hello and welcome to the Golden Gloves Chat Show. I'm Brian Mitchell, with me, Chris Thompson, Christopher Andrew Thompson. Chris the Wolf Thompson. Welcome,
Right.
Chris. Lucky to have you again as one of our guests. Chris, former South African heavyweight champion, born in 1995. Great year to be born. That's when South Africa Springboks won the World Cup at Ellis Park. Tell us where you were born, Chris, because I was talking to you off air and I was a bit confused myself, even though I know you for many years. It says Durban, says you live in Durban, it says you were born in Durban. Tell us the real story.
Yeah, so I was actually born in Santon Clinic down the road.
Okay.
But I've always had ties to Natal. I have a house in Natal, so I've always been going down to Natal like my whole life. And then
You still got a house in Natal?
I still have a house in Natal.
Where
and,
about?
in Belito.
Okay.
So we go down to like myself and Natal are like half and half with Joburg, you know. And then when I left school, I played rugby for the Sharks, and then lived in Durban for a while thereafter, and then came back to play rugby actually for the Bulls and for Tuks, and then stayed in.
And you played for the Lions as well, did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, in school, and then came back to Joburg to play rugby, and just stayed after that.
And tell us about your rugby injuries. You had a bad knee.
Yeah,
problem?
look, I was playing for the Bulls at the time, and we were playing in the Vodacom Cup, and I got a barge tackle, and I broke my knee, and I had to have a left knee replacement. So everything in my left knee is actually titanium. And then stopped playing rugby. Just didn't have the mental capacity to play the game at that level anymore. And then did my recovery at Tuks, and then started boxing straight after. And I'm actually still with the exact same strength and conditioning coach as what I was when I was playing for them.
Great. And tell us about your amateur background. You had no amateur fights, or did you have a couple?
No, I had no amateur fights.
Nothing.
Nothing unless you
Seriously?
consider fighting in the club when you're a young boy.
that doesn't count,
But other than that, I had no amateur background.
Did you win the fights in the clubs?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah. That's actually what got me into boxing. Is my wife always said to me when I broke my knee, I didn't know really what I was going to do, and my wife and I were at lunch, and my wife said, "Well, everyone is so scared of you. Why don't you start boxing?"
Yeah.
Then I said to her, "Actually, that's not a bad idea. You know?"
Not a bad idea.
And we were sitting at Crest, and I just googled boxing gym near me. And at that age, I was 22, and went to the boxing gym, and I went there and I said, "Hey, listen, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it as a recreational sport. I want to do it professionally, you know."
And it's like 7 years ago.
Yeah, and then that's how it started.
Chris, so tell us, one of my favorite questions that I love asking the guys is the nickname. Because everyone's got a nickname that's attached to something, and that's so interesting. Where did you get the nickname The Wolf?
Look, it's got a close tie with me, the Wolf, for two reasons. Because I've always been a sportsman, you know. I've always had the acknowledgement that, you know, the fans are the ones that provide the sport, you know. And so when I named myself, or when I got the alias, I wanted something that sat with, you know, the fans, you know, that I could have a crowd pool with the fans. And I just thought of something like, what am I named that will associate myself to the fans, you know. And I thought of a wolf because, you know, you get a wolf pack, you know. And my mother I was always a naughty kid, you know. I was raised in a very conservative house, like church-going people, very conservative, very academic. My parents were very, very, very academic. And I was always the opposite, you know. I was very sporty in school, a little bit boisterous. And my mother always told me, "You were raised by wolves."
Okay.
And then, you know, as if to say, "I don't know why you're so wild." You know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just put the two together and I call myself the wolf, you know. Because
And how does it give us the wolf sound? And that's, you know what I say? I'm starting to love it as well, because I've done a few of your fights as a commentator. We've been with you as Golden Gloves. The fans love it. Eh? The fans love you, I must say, which is a big compliment to you. They love shouting the wolf. I've seen it the weigh-in that we had 2 weeks ago. The fans came out in their droves, and the audience, the boxing fans love it when you come to the ring, and they love shouting the wolf. So well done. You know, that's congratulations to you. You've got that charisma, and you've almost got that like touch of arrogance which works in boxing. You know, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And you've got that bit of arrogance which works. It's great. Because boxing is show business.
Yeah,
and you're saying the right things at the right time. And I think that's fantastic. The fans are loving it. The promoter, Rodney Berman, Golden Gloves, enjoys it. and we all enjoy it. Talk to us about your charisma and your. Are you arrogant or are you confident?
I would, like you say, it's a touch of both, right? I'm so confident that it comes across as arrogant.
Exactly.
And the reason why I'm so confident is because I know of the amount of work that I put in.
Yeah.
So that provides me with the confidence that I need. I know I'm super fit. I know I've put in the work. I've put in the sparring. I know I'm strong. These are things that I know. I know what I can do. So it gives me confidence. And look, like you said, it's show business, At the end of the day, the guy sitting across me that wants to fight me, we're not going to play touches,
And you can't come second in boxing.
No.
If you come second in the comrades, you get a gold
Yeah,
medal.
100%.
You come second in boxing, it's like kissing a
people
sister.
people forget you. So,
yes.
At the end of the day, like, although it is all business, my opponent needs to understand that they're not in there with somebody that's taking them lightly.
Yeah.
And that's true for everybody. So, I gain confidence and, especially, I think maybe with the experience that I've had fighting overseas, I've seen that when you go abroad, the guys let you know, like, hey, man, we're here for a fight.
Yeah.
Whereas in South Africa, sometimes we're a little bit more reserved. But people actually want to see blood,
Yeah.
That's what they're there.
Yeah, we are a conservative country, but at the end of the day, like you say, internationally, we look at the big fights. The guys, you got to be a bit arrogant. You got to be in a guy's face.
Yeah,
it's the fight game.
Even locally, like we saw last weekend, when the heavyweights come on, people pay attention. People make noise, and there's only one reason: because of the violence, because of the ability to hurt each other. And I'm there to hurt you, so I'm there to let you know, hey man, I'm here to hurt you. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to knock your spark out. That is what my job is.
Yeah, great answer, Chris. Because that's I've been asked that before in my career. Don't I think I'm a bit arrogant? And then I never thought I was an arrogant guy, but I was always very confident. Because you got to believe you're the best.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't be the best. And so your answer's perfect. Yeah, there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And if people think you're arrogant, so what? You're very confident.
Yes, and like I said to you, it's a touch and go thing with confidence and arrogance. You actually have to be so confident that you come across to those who don't understand.
Who don't understand.
Across arrogant.
They don't understand. They'll think you're arrogant. Great. Okay, so let's talk about your personal life. Married in 2022. Tell us about your marriage.
Yeah, look, I've been with my wife for 10 years, been with her for a decade already. Got married in 2022.
It took a long time to get married, eh?
Yeah, made her wait. Also, we met when we were young, so we just had to wait for the right time,
She kept you waiting 10 years, eh?
Yeah, she kept me waiting. That was the truth of it.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been with her for a long time, and she's been there from the beginning of this whole ride,
Nice. Looks like a lovely lady. Where did you get married, Chris?
I got married at Oxbow I'm not too sure what the area. You'll have to ask my wife. She'll be able to give you all the details.
Okay, no problem. We'll get back to the boxing. So 20 pro fights you've had now, 13 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw. For me personally, your record's deceiving. You're better than your record. And I'll explain it just now when we talk about your fights you had overseas that you lost. You're definitely better than your record. So for the viewers to know what I'm trying to say is, you went overseas, you had a couple of losses against undefeated guys, but you're actually a lot better than your 13 wins, let's say.
Yeah. Look,
talk to us about that.
Some of those losses locally were handed by the judges, I guess, and some of them internationally were also handed by the judges. When I fought the Russian champion Evgeny Romanov, if you go watch the fight, I've watched it over several times. I won the fight.
Yeah,
I clearly won the fight. But when you go abroad, you have to knock guys out,
You got to knock a guy out to get a draw.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And some of the local calls, even the draw on my record, I fought a guy in Tanzania, and I very clearly beat him, even bit the skin off my ribs. And, when you're abroad, like you said, you got to knock a guy out to get a draw.
Yeah.
So they gave him a draw. I clearly beat him. So I would say there are like 3 or 4 on there that shouldn't even be there. And yes, there are some fights that I shouldn't have taken, but I'm the kind of man that if you send me a contract to fight, I'll fight you. Like I've said, I'll fight somebody in their mother's kitchen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we spoke about that off air just now, myself and you and Jeff Ellis and Rodney Berman, our promoter, that's what we like about you as well. You coming over to Golden Gloves now, that you take any fight, you're not scared of any guy, and you are improving all the time, which is wonderful. And heavyweights, and you're going to be a bridgerweight, but start maturing later in life. And you now 29 years old, you're maturing, you're getting better, you look good in this last fight. Let's talk 2022 becomes a big year for you, married as we said. You become South African and ABU heavyweight champion 2022. You beat Josh Pretorius on a shutout, 120-108. It can't get better than that. That means you won every round on all three judges' scorecards, which is brilliant. Then you lose in 2022. So this is a big year for you, up and down, to Keaton Gomes in a humdinger fight. It was a brilliant fight until the 6th round, when I thought you were making a good comeback, and then the ref stopped the fight.
Yeah.
What do you think went wrong in the? You did look a bit tired after 6 rounds. Tell us about that, the Keaton Gomes fight.
Look, Keaton caught me early. There were, everything's like I'm learning on the job. Never boxed as an amateur, so I'm learning on the job. I made a couple of crucial errors to the build-up of the fight. Even the walk out to the fight, I ran to the ring. I should have been calm, cool, collected. I should have just been myself. But I was a bit, for lack of a better word, overwhelmed by the situation, maybe emotions. I ran to the ring, lost my composure. And Keaton caught me in round 1 with a very good punch. And as you know, with the heavyweights, one punch changes the fight, Got up, I felt I started coming back. Keaton caught me again. And then in the 6th, he caught me with I can't even tell you what round it was, but he caught me with a good uppercut, and I took a knee because I knew, okay, let me gather some time here. And when I took a knee, the ref called the fight. Look, the ref is always the guy in charge in the ring. What he does is what he does, and I've moved on.
Hey, and listen, Keaton's a good fighter and he's a good puncher, so it wasn't a bad loss. But as I said, you seemed like you were making a good comeback there. But I suppose that doesn't matter anymore. That's history. You've taken it on the chin like a man. 2023 wasn't a good year for you. You went overseas a few times, but like you said earlier on, to get decisions overseas is not easy. Obviously, the money is a bit better fighting overseas.
Yeah, look, I think they always bait you overseas. They always give you short notice fights. Like I fought Solomon Dakers, the English champion. I fought him on 10 days notice. I sparred once. One 6-rounder, and it was a 10-round fight, and I could only get 6 rounds in before the fight. I went. Look, no excuses. I was sick as a dog when I went, but I went. I'm there to fight. I'm a fight. Painters paint, fighters fight, drivers drive. I'm here to fight. That's my job.
And obviously, you're the opponent in that case, because, like you said, they give you short notice.
Yeah.
They're putting you against an undefeated guy. And you're not going to beat the guy if it goes the distance.
No, never. They're never going to give you the decision on the scorecards, no matter how convincingly you beat the guy. I mean, if you look at the Evgeny fight, that was an 8-round. I very, very clearly won 6 of the 8 rounds. Very clearly.
Chris, let's talk 2024 rejuvenated Chris the Wolf Thompson, as far as I'm concerned. 2 weeks ago, you looked brilliant against Jean Roux on the No Mercy tournament by Golden Gloves. You started slowly, and you guys were holding on a bit. I suppose that was more from Jean's side. And then you looked brilliant. You started coming on. That pace was good. I like your hand speed for a big guy. And then you had the knockdown in the 8th round. And what happened there? You thought the fight we had longer to go. Tell us the story.
Yeah, so basically, I heard Shannon say 40 seconds left. And as I hit him down, I heard 40 seconds left. Then wrongly, I went to not the neutral corner. Then I went to the neutral corner, and as I went to the neutral corner, John got up and he basically fell over. So I thought, okay, well, this fight's over, And he was falling around, and I could see he wasn't on his feet. So I did the sweet chin music. Then obviously, as I did the sweet chin music, which is a WWE move, I was just having fun. I love to fight. I'm a fighting man. And I saw my opponent was finished. So I did the sweet chin music, and the ref turned to me and he said to me, "Hey man, you need to stop doing what you're doing." I actually gave John, who I've seen on the Supersport tip, I gave him 28 seconds to recover, which is wrong, yes, I admit.
Yeah.
But I was just having fun, I was embracing the fans were enjoying it. And I thought that I still had 40 seconds in the round. And I knew I just had to touch him once, and he was going.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was falling over, he could hardly stand up. So I knew, okay, well, let me entertain these people a little bit. So I gave them a Shawn Michaels sweet chin music, and then the bell went.
And then entertain was good. You even talking to me as a commentator. I'm sitting there with my headphones and I'm thinking, Chris was talking to me. What did you say? What did you say to me?
I said to you, "Hey Brian, watch this jab." And then I saw you look at me all surprised. And as you looked at me, and I landed the jab, and I thought to myself, well, no, now I'm in a simulation. I'm talking to this guy and I'm hitting this guy.
Fantastic.
I think the key is just, we're there to entertain. The people are paying their hard-earned money to see us.
Yes.
do these
And
kinds
it's
of
good
things.
that you look at it that way, because fighters that are negative and get in there and they're getting paid for it and the people are paying a lot of money, I mean, who wants to see that at the end of the day?
I'll be honest with you, I love to fight. I love to, it's just the honest truth. And, you know, I've also realized in my short career that I'm at my best fighter when I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I'm not switched on? No, definitely not. Don't mistake that for me not being switched on. It's actually more the opposite. It's me being engaged with everything that's happening, you know. Brian Mitchell sitting ringside. I see the guy in the corner. I see the guy in front. I see everything that's happening around. And that's actually where I'm at my best.
Yeah,
you know?
I like what you're doing. I like your fun because it's giving you that confidence.
Yeah.
And that confidence, you didn't even realize you can knock Jean-Roux down. And it took you 8 rounds and it was the last round.
Yeah.
And if you started doing that a bit earlier in the second, third round,
put him away,
you would have put him away, definitely.
Yes, 100%.
So, no, I like that confidence that you're doing and it's working well for you. Let's talk about the big thing that we today to talk about. You're joining Golden Gloves. We're very excited and happy to have you on board. You're going to the Bridgerweight division. Now, the Bridgerweight division is a new division. As we know, South Africa's Kevin Lerena is the number 1 in the WBC. He's the interim Bridgerweight champion. And Kevin's in line to fight Lawrence Sekoli. And that's the route that you've decided you want to take. Your talks with Golden Gloves are to take you the Bridgerweight route. For me, it's a perfect weight for you. It's a perfect division because you're big, but you're not a massive heavyweight. So you walk around, 108 kilograms?
Around there, yeah.
Around there. So for you, when you're in training camp to get to 101,
not very difficult.
Wouldn't be that difficult.
No.
I mean, I can imagine at 101 you'd be cut to pieces. You'd look great. So that is the route that you're taking now. The great heavyweight fighters of all time, like Joe Louis, my favorite of all time, and then guys like Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, Joe Fraser, you name it, were smaller guys. They were actually smaller than you, and they made it big. So there's no reason why you shouldn't make it big in the Bridgerweight division. Talk to us about the new things that are happening in your life now.
Look, obviously, you know, like you said, 2024 rejuvenated. You know, I'm only finding myself in the sport now. You know, relatively new to boxing. I'm finding my place. You know, was a cruiserweight, now moved up to heavyweight. Now going to Bridgerweight, which is probably the ideal situation. You know, and just to work with what is most comfortable with me and see where I can move and how far I can go, you know. And Rodney Berman can obviously put you in those kind of positions,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? And just to take those opportunities with both hands. That's what I'm here for. So, you know, look, I'm excited to be in the new weight division. I'm excited to be promoted by Rodney. I'm excited to see where it goes, you know, and to unfold, you know, my understanding for the sport and just develop as we go.
Yeah, I like what you say as well, because that you're growing with every fight. Because you don't have an amateur background, you're teaching yourself in every fight to be a better fighter. And that's what's brilliant. Like you say, you were a cruiserweight. Obviously, it was tough making cruiserweight for a big guy like you, I can imagine. And a heavyweight, you're too small for heavyweight in the real big league. Although Alessandro Usyk's the best in the world and he's your size. But I believe Bridgerweight is the right division for Chris Thompson. And you're just getting better as a fighter.
Yeah, look, I think at the Bridgerweight division, I'll have the ability to still have that stamping power, and guys, when they come close and I touch them, they're going to be hurt. You know, to be honest with you, a lot of people who haven't experienced it, all the big South Africans play rugby.
Yeah.
It's just the truth of it. All the big guys in South Africa play rugby. Whereas all the big guys abroad box.
Yeah.
I mean, in November last year, I fought a guy who was 7'2", and I only realized how big he was when we were in the ring, and he took a knee before the fight was about to start, and I was actually looking the guy dead in his eyes, and I was standing on my feet, and this guy was on one knee, and he was looking me in the eyes. I thought, geez, like, this guy is huge. Yeah. Then, like, even at the weigh-in, you don't realize, but when you're in the ring with those guys that are that big, you like, physically, you're at a disadvantage because they're so much bigger than you, they're so much heavier than you. You know, I mean, if you look at Jean-Roux, to be 130 and be big, it doesn't mean you're a heavyweight. You know, when you get these guys that are like Tyson Fury, 130 kilos, and he's fat, but he's not a beastly big. You know, he's a huge unit.
Yeah.
You know, like those guys are using their weight. They're a lot bigger than us. So I believe the Bridgerweight division will be ideal for
Yeah,
me.
like the Anthony Joshuas that are like
They're really big, yeah.
6'7" and 110 kilograms. That's
Big.
They're probably walking around at about 118 kilograms.
Maybe even more, you know. Those
Yeah.
guys are, if they blow up big. They're big, they've got big structures, they're tall. You know, I'm a tall guy at 6'4", but I'm not a tall heavyweight. I mean, the tall heavyweights are all 6'8", 7-foot guys. So the Bridgerweight division is perfect for me.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. But like you touched on as well, that South Africa must have big guys that can fight because everybody plays rugby. So as you know, I'm doing this new heavyweight thing at the Potchefstroom University on the 24th of August. We're going to start with the heavyweight competition, and I want to do it around the country, you know, in all these small little dorps where the guys haven't had an opportunity. There hasn't been a boxing gym. They haven't had an opportunity to box and love it like you do. We need big guys like you that want to come into boxing and box, you know. So that's a competition I'm starting. Obviously, you'll help us with that. But yeah, good luck. August, I believe, is your first fight on the Golden Glove show at Empress Palace in the Bridgerweight division. And we look forward to that. We'll have many more chats. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very
the
much.
Wolf Thompson.
Thank you very much. I
Thanks,
appreciate
bud.
it.